SpaceX is moving at Warp 9 speed to develop its next-generation launch vehicle that will enable humans to become a multiplanetary species. CEO Elon Musk has published a photo showing 6 Raptors, including 3 vacuum-optimized engines, installed on a Starship prototype for the first time for the second time in less than 5 weeks. SpaceX has also transported a brand new Starship booster, known as Super Heavy, from its Boca Chica factory to a launch site and testing facilities just down the road. The company flew in a workforce of over 500 employees, from its headquarters in Hawthorne, California, to South Texas to help speed up the pace of progress at the Starbase facility. SpaceX founder and Chief Engineer Elon Musk has been working tirelessly alongside employees this past week to complete the assembly of the first spacecraft prototype that will be launched to orbit and return to Earth. SpaceX teams are working to complete the final assembly of Starship SN20 at the Starbase factory. The 160 feet tall spacecraft is covered in black color heat tiles, pictured below. The heat tiles are designed to withstand extremely hot temperatures, of over 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit as the vehicle returns from orbit. Starship SN20 standing in high bay for nosecone installation. Now, while most of SN20's upgrades are a mystery, much of the Ship20 rocket is already complete in a high bay facility in Boca Chica, Texas. Like Starship SN15, which Musk said sported hundreds of improvements, next major technology rev is at SN20. Those ships will be orbit capable. With heat shield and stage separation system ascent success, probability is high. However, SN20 plus vehicles will probably need many flight attempts to survive Mach 25 entry heating and land intact. So what exactly are the differences of Ship20, in addition to hundreds of internal improvements that SpaceX did not reveal? One of the enhancements is physically visible. First, SpaceX has significantly increased the number of heat shield tiles on this Starship prototype. On Ship20 many thermal protection tiles were seen. On the potential Ship20 section there is a difference, compared with S15 in the arrangement of the heat shield. There will be gaps to separate the parts so that they do not form a seamless block surrounding the body of Starship. Engineers have tested couple samples of heat shield material on the Starship's stainless steel skin, but the orbital class rocket will require a more extensive thermal barrier to withstand the super hot temperatures of atmospheric re-entry. So how many heat shields does S20 need for orbital flight? The number of Spaceship Thermal Protection System or TPS tiles on the SN15 prototype is around 829. I predicted there are more than 10,000 heat shields on Ship20. In the weeks ahead, we will see SpaceX transport SN20 to the launch pad, where it will undergo pre-flight tests, then it will be stacked atop Super Heavy Booster 4 at the orbital launch tower. Likely capable of producing more than 1,250 metric tons of thrust in vacuum, the installation of those 6 engines likely also makes Starship S20 the most powerful orbital rocket stage ever assembled. Of course, like Booster 4, these engines will likely be removed for crucial proof testing, and will need to be reinstalled for static fire tests or launch. But the fact remains that those milestones are just a matter of time away from becoming reality. If no major surprises pop up during qualification testing, Booster 4 and Ship20 will be joined together to become the first full Starship stack, and are also expected to support the program's first orbital launch attempt later this year. Musk shared on Sunday evening that SpaceX started to work on installing Super Heavy's Raptor engines, and they completed the installation in less than 15 hours on Monday morning. By Tuesday, August 3, SpaceX transported the monstrous Super Heavy rocket test vehicle to the launch pad at Boca Chica Beach for pre-flight preparations. This time around, though, the Super Heavy in question, Booster 4, is expected to be the first truly flight-worthy booster, and though plans could change, has been assigned to Starship's first orbital test flight. In a show of force, Booster 4 left the high bay it was built in and rolled to a nascent orbital launch site, with 29 Raptor engines installed after an almost unbelievable feat of rocket assembly, just 1 day prior. In as few as 14 hours, SpaceX installed all 29 of Super Heavy Booster 4's Raptor engines, including 20 boost variants, and 9 gimballing center variants. It's unlikely that there is a single other instance in the history of spaceflight where so many large, functional rocket engines were installed as quickly as SpaceX was able to outfit Booster 4. Those signs suggest, SpaceX will likely remove some or all of those engines after installing the rocket booster, At the launch pad and beginning proof testing, the feat is still an extraordinary one. The 230-foot tall stainless steel rocket, identified as Booster 4, will propel Starship SN20 to orbit during the company's debut orbital test flight this summer. The flight could potentially take place this month, if SpaceX receives all the necessary regulatory approvals, and if the vehicle passes all pre-flight ground tests. The company is pending an environmental review by the Federal Aviation Administration, that will give them the green light for launch. Musk shared a stunning video of the giant Booster 4, being transported down Highway 4 on Tuesday. The rocket is equipped with 29 methane-burning Raptor engines, that are capable of producing over 16 million tons of thrust. Once in operation, Super Heavy will have more thrust power than every operational rocket in history. Booster 4 will be placed on the orbital launch mount where it will undergo ground testing. The first pre-flight test is expected to be a proof test of the stainless steel vehicle. To test Booster 4's structural integrity, engineers will fill up the tanks with cryogenic liquid nitrogen, to simulate the extreme pressures it will experience during an orbital flight. If this test goes well, engineers will then conduct a static fire test of Super Heavy's 29 Raptors. It is still unknown how many boosters will be test-fired at once, as the vehicle remains grounded to the orbital mount. The orbital flight test profile was outlined in a SpaceX filing to the Federal Communications Commission, in which the company seeks an experimental authorization to operate Starlink antennas aboard Starship. During the orbital test flight, engineers plan to return Booster 4 from orbit to land it in the water, around 30 kilometers offshore in Gulf of Mexico. It will return approximately 170 seconds after propelling Starship SN20 to orbit, as SN20 continues a voyage across the Florida Straits, to splashdown off the northwest coast of Hawaii. The entire test flight will last roughly 90 minutes. It will provide engineers valuable insight into the launch system's development. While Booster 4 and Ship20 will both end up in the ocean at the conclusion of the test flight, Mary, at Boca Chica, has already spotted sections for Booster 5 and Ship21. Clues to the future have either already been on view or confirmed via Elon Musk. Firstly, a Pathfinder nose cone was observed in recent days. This will be a key element of Starship's opening operational flights, likely to begin with lofting huge amounts of Starlink satellites. Such Pathfinder operations are likely to continue on future spare nose cones as the design evolves. Elon Musk also provided encouraging news about the down mass capability of Starship, albeit with a one-word answer: sure. When asked if Starship could be used to return Hubble from orbit at the end of its lifetime, allowing it to be put on display, as opposed to suffering from a destructive re-entry. Thanks for watching this video, and it's a super interesting topic. If you like this, make sure to subscribe. If you have any crazy ideas about what we should cover in next video, please comment it below, and we'll see if we can get to it. So thanks again for watching and goodbye.